Cherry Hill West tried to help out the families of southern Florida and Louisiana whose lives were disrupted by the coming of Hurricane Andrew. West contributed by having a Hurricane Andrew relief drop-off for essential items for the families in need.
The Lady Lions field hockey team went 1-1 last week as they defeated Paul VI and dropped to arch rival Cherry Hill East. Julia Dunworth and Heather Levinsky scored the goals in the Paul VI game.
I'm here outside the cafeteria, ready to ask students what they did over their summer vacation.
Let's see, I made a little bit of money and wasted it on my car, and made my system hurt my ears and I can't hear, so I might have to repeat the question.
This summer, I was a secretary in the printing business in Pennsauken because I need to raise money because my parents are too cheap to buy me my car. So I had to work this whole summer. I went down to the store twice, and I worked for money for my car come around November.
I was here working all summer, hiring new teachers. I went to Wisconsin and Michigan for meetings, and that was about it.
I went to the shore, and I went to hockey camp, and that's about it. Oh, me? I went to the shore, just pretty much hung out.
I slept and I worked all summer.
Last Wednesday night, the Guidance Department sponsored Higher Education Night at 7 p.m. in the library and cafeteria. Primarily intended for juniors and seniors, Higher Education Night is held to introduce students to a variety of colleges. The high school students who attended were able to pick up applications, literature, and ask any questions of the representatives from each school. Over 100 colleges were represented, which added to making the outcome a successful one.
Boys varsity soccer team, ranked number 5 2 weeks ago, dropped another game to East, 1-0 in overtime. The Lions, who are now 1-3, are ranked number 19 in South Jersey. Mr. Sleeze says he's happy with the team's play and expects the wins in the future.
Last Thursday, 9 seniors took part in West's annual Young Woman of the Year pageant. The pageant involved an interview and a talent portion. The contestants were asked, "What makes you most proud to be in the class of 1993? In the talent portion, Samara Aberman played the xylophone, Christy Church and Amy Zaltzman danced, Amy Schneider performed a monologue, Kim McBride recited poetry. Vocalists were Deborah Lassiter, Karen Lane, and Tara Rogers also danced. The winner, Leslie McNair, sang Coming Out of the Dark by Gloria Estefan. Earlier today, I had a chance to speak with the winner. Congratulations, Leslie.
Thank you.
What was your reaction to winning the pageant?
Well, at first when they announced my name, I was really extremely shocked because I didn't expect it because this competition was so stiff. And all the girls were so incredibly talented that there was just no way of knowing who was going to get it.
Okay, how much planning and practicing and effort did you put into the pageant?
Well, in June, everybody who was going to do the pageant in October filled out a resume. And then from there, we just went on to talk about what talents we were going to do. There was an interview a week before the pageant. And then after that, on the night of the pageant, we all did a talent and then answered a question, what makes you most proud to be a member of the class of 1993?
Okay, and what are you going to do? What are your obligations that you have to fulfill now that you're the Young Women of the Year?
Well, the day after Thanksgiving, the regional pageant, that's when it is. And I compete with other girls from all over New Jersey, and that's the next thing that I have to do as far as Young Women of the Year.
During the summer, Mrs. Ratchford asked her History 1 AP classes to do a creative project concerning the 500th year anniversary of Columbus's discovery of America. Some of the original projects completed by the students are on display now and can be seen by all in the library as well as various showcases around the school. The cast and crew of Cinderella, the upcoming children's show, are working hard under the direction of Ms. McMenamin. The show dates are October 30th and 31st. Now here's reporter Jen Garrido with Cinderella's director.
Ms. McMenamin, how long have you been directing?
I've been directing the children's show for the last 3 years, and prior to that I directed the 3-act play from 1979 through 1986.
Are there any special techniques for staging a children's show?
Yes, in children's theater you like to totally involve the audience, and you like to play to the young children. And so you direct questions for the audience, for the children to answer, and you try to have the actors and actresses move through the audience, and perhaps a chase scene if the show lends itself to that.
All right, there's so many popular plays, children's fairy tales, stories. Why did you choose Cinderella?
Well, Cinderella has always been a personal favorite of mine, and I've been searching for years for a script that was playable. And if you consider the 2 plays that I've done previously, Pinocchio and Snow White, you can see that I'm on the attack that Disney brings in the crowds.
All right. Who are the main characters and who plays them?
Well, obviously Cinderella and the Prince. Cinderella is played by a sophomore, Kate Nanny, and also a sophomore new to West Stage is playing the role of the Prince, and that is Nick Garnett. The fairy godmother is a senior, Sarah Capist, and the stepmother is a sophomore, Laura Anderson, and the 3 stepsisters, an unusual twist. One of the stepsisters is being played by a gentleman, and that is a junior, and his name is Josh Cohen. He's playing the role of Frump. Miriam Miller, a sophomore, will play the role of Matilda, and another sophomore, Ellie Katz, will play the role of Griselda.
Big Al Zolak, a former professional basketball player and recovering drug addict, visited her school on October 20th and 21st. Big Al presented his program, Do Hugs, Not Drugs, to the student body of Cherry Hill West. This program dealt with alcohol, drugs, steroids, and any problem that children and adults of today face. On behalf of the school, I would like to thank you, Big Al, for the excellent programs you presented to our community.
When is the best time for parents to meet students' teachers? Back to school night, of course. This year, back to school night was on October 14th. It began at 7:30 with a meeting in the auditorium. Then the parents were sent to run frantically around West, attempting to follow their teenagers' schedules. In each 10-minute period, the teachers explained to parents what the course is about, how the grading system works, how to get extra help, and the importance of homework. Parents who attended now have a better understanding of the demands of a day at Cherry Hill West.
On Monday, approximately 100 students from History 1 and 2 classes attended a trip in which they could meet the current Vice President. Joined by many other school groups, the visitors from West patiently gathered awaiting the arrival of Mr. Quayle. When he finally arrived, he spoke for 15 minutes and quickly left. Most students were disappointed by the short appearance, but were happy for the privilege to attend such an event.
The boys soccer team is back in the thick of the race as they defeated Edgewood 3-2, Overbrook 2-0, and Willingboro 8-3. The number 15 ranked Lions are now a very respectable 8-3. Brian Bianco scored 6 goals last week, giving him a team lead of 18 on the season. West, who has already qualified for both the state and the coaches tournament, will play Deptford, Washington Township, and Pennsauken this week. How about that girls soccer team? They had a splendid week by tying Pennsauken 1-1, and the 19th ranked Edgewood 1-1 also. Nicole Feliciano and Miriam Cozen scored the goals for West. The team will play Deptford and Washington Township this week. Could Julia Dunlop lead the Lady Lions team to another victory this week? Yes, she said, as she scored the lone goal in West's 1-0 victory over Camden Catholic. The team fared well against Shawnee also last Saturday, only giving up 4 goals to the highly ranked Renegades. Can the team beat Washington Township and Bishop Eustace this week? We'll report the scores to you next week.
When is the Wash Gym going to be finished construction, and why did it take so long? Those are some of the questions on students' minds at Cherry Hill West. Construction began last June. The larger construction company, Cherry Hill, ran into unexpected problems. The workers needed to redo a small section of concrete. It took the summer for the floor to cure. The workers have just completed painting the gym white and are in the process of putting in a new wooden floor. The project should be completed by November 19th.
On Monday, the Spanish Club, along with the French and International Culture Clubs, had a Halloween party at the cafeteria after school. Foods and refreshments made by the club members were served for free. There were games and DJs available for entertainment. Miss Lopez, the coordinator of the Spanish Club, provided the Halloween decorations. Students who wore costumes on that day received extra credit in their foreign language class.
The October 21st faculty meeting was devoted to discussing the cultural dimensions of the West community. The session topics and presenters were the African American experience by Ms. Leola Lewis, the Korean community experience with Mr. Chuck Kim, and the transformation in Cherry Hill Greek community by Reverend Paranakis. The 3 spokespersons focused on the core values of their communities and changes being made in them. This was the second faculty meeting to be devoted to the topic of cultural differences. Teachers say that the program was very informative and enriching.
West Varsity soccer team had another strong week, grabbing 2 wins and a tie, bettering their record to 10-3-1. The boys began the week by crushing Deptford 4-0. This win was followed by an impressive 1-1 tie to highly ranked Washington Township. On Saturday, the Lions beat Pennsauken 4-1. Brian Bianco scored his team-high 22nd goal this week. Cherry Hill West boys gymnastics team placed second in its tri-meet last Friday, beating Lenape and falling to Cherry Hill East. Ryan Spiegel, Mike Ismani, and Brian Lewis all placed individually for West, which will finish its season against Haddon Township Thursday night. The girls team will try to outscore Rancocas Valley and Shawnee in their 2 final meets this week.
As a follow-up to last week's assembly, Do Hugs Not Drugs by Big Al Zolak, our roving reporters interviewed some students and teachers to get their reactions.
The Big Al Assembly was very effective. It got through to the students. It made them think about the consequences of drugs, and it gave them alternative. I mean, it showed you ways that, if they had problems with drugs, you don't get yelled at or anything. The hug, I think that was really good.
I agree totally, but also the fact that Big Al really made you think of things, and he presented things in a really original way, a really creative way, unlike other people who just state the facts. He was really there getting into it and made us really think about things and presented issues that we had never really thought about before.
Like Jen, I thought the best thing about Big Al was the fact that, unlike other speakers, he went down to our level, and he thought the way we thought. Unlike the other speakers, he usually talked down to us. And when we were on the same wavelength, that's how he really got through to us.
I think that Big Al, I think it was really good that he came to the school because he touched a lot of people, and he really made us understand what can happen if you do drugs, and I think he really got through to a lot of people.
He got a lot of people to open up, and it was good because a lot of people don't usually talk about that kind of stuff.
Last Wednesday, October 28th, Cherry Hill West got that chance to decide by taking part in a national student parent mock election. Sponsored statewide by New Jersey's Department of Education, West students made their choices for both the presidential and congressional elections. In the presidential race, there was a total of 13 separate tickets from which to vote. The winner from among the 1,067 votes counted, Democrat Bill Clinton, with 439 votes, about 41%. Second in the race was Texas billionaire H. Ross Perot, carrying 355 voters to his ticket, a surprising 33% of the vote. The Republican ticket took third place with 210 votes, approximately 20% of the student voters.
The big talk at West this week was the announcement of the proposal to merge Cherry Hill East and Cherry Hill West. The Board of Education is faced with the problem of overcrowding in the township schools. Monday night, this topic was discussed at the board meeting. We're here with Stephanie Burstein, a sophomore at West, who is concerned about the issue of combining these two schools.
During Monday, the school day, I collected over 284 signatures against the combining of the two schools of East and West that were against it, and they did not want to combine the schools.
Last Sunday, West Marching Band and Color Guard traveled to Egg Harbor Township for a competition. Our band ranked first among the 4 schools participating in the competition with a score of 98.2 points out of a possible 100. Dethroning the number 1 defending champion, the marching band also set an all-time high score for West. West Color Guard was also the champion of the day when it was named the best guard in the competition. Congratulations to the number 1 Color Guard and marching band.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lions from Cherry Hill West.
The boys soccer team advanced to the semifinals of the state tourney by defeating Toms River North and then shocking Vineland 2-0. Brian Bianco scored his 26th goal of the season in the Vineland contest, and Bill Anuzek added the other goal. Joe Molinaro scored the game winner in the Toms River matchup. That was his 9th of the season. Anthony DeMichael was superb in goal for the 7th-ranked Lions, who will play East in the semifinals this week.
Where were 12 of Cherry Hill West's bravest guys last Friday night? On West Stage, of course, performing in the 10th annual Mr. West pageant. In order to be a part of the pageant, each guy was asked to perform a talent, model formal wear, casual wear, and most definitely a swimsuit. At the start of the pageant, there were 12 in the running, but in the end, the selection was narrowed down to only 5 contestants. The 12 contestants included Jason Connell, Mr. Don't Tell Mom, Todd Moraldo, Mr. All-American, Drew Raven, Mr. Beluki, Jeff Eastman, Mr. Gutterball, Rob Wagner, Mr. Data, Eric Shaw, Mr. Versatile, and Adam Ritter as Mr. Felix. Those who were chosen to be in the top 5 included John Tisa, Mr. Chicks Dig Me, who did an Elvis impersonation, Ian Holmes, Mr. Funky Tut, who performed the song King Tut, Dom Casenzo, Mr. Confused, who performed a drum solo, Jay Kiefer, Mr. Temptation, who performed a lip sync, and the winner in Mr. West 1993, Aaron Lazar, Mr. Apple Pie, sang How Do You Talk to an Angel? The 5 finalists who were chosen each had to answer a question in addition to completing the other qualifications. Congratulations to Aaron Lazar, the new Mr. West.
the West-run supermarket, Shop West, celebrated its grand reopening. The supermarket was closed to restock and to hire new employees. On hand for the ceremony was Cherry Hill Mayor Susan Bass-Levin, who performed the ceremonial ribbon cutting, and School Superintendent Philip Esbrandt. One new addition is the new computer, which will be used for flyers, ads, and pamphlets. The store will be open from 9 a.m. to 12:15, Monday through Friday.
This Wednesday, Cherry Hill West held its annual homecoming celebration. Yesterday, members of each class government decorated the Jones Gymnasium in preparation for today's pep rally. Some of the highlights from the pep rally were the male cheerleaders and the introduction of the homecoming finalists and the naming of the homecoming queen. Also, the class governments have been working on floats, which will be displayed during the halftime show at the East-West football game. This game will air on Cable 18 at 5 o'clock on Thursday. The freshmen and seniors float has the theme of Sesame Street, and the sophomore and juniors focuses on cereal personalities such as the Trix Rabbit and Captain Crunch. Also appearing in the halftime show will be Young Woman of the Year, Leslie McNair, Homecoming Queen, Tara Rogers, and Mr. West, Aaron Lazar.
Here's a Walsh Gym update. The hardwood floor is in place and the line is already painted on the floating floor. It's almost finished and there'll be an update next week. Are the girls going to be able to play there? I don't know. We'll tell you later. All right, now to talk about the boys soccer team. Joe Molinaro has made first team all Group 4 as a midfielder and second team all state. And Brian Bianco has made second team all Group 4 and third team all state. And this week, Bruce Barker was honored with the Brooks Irvin Club Award for the top high school student athletes in South Jersey. Well, now for Dave's pick for East-West matchup tomorrow. I pick West 23, East 21, as Joel Correa rushes for over 100 yards and 2 TDs.
Last Wednesday, November the 18th at 7:30, West Performing and Visual Arts Society, PAVIS, held its induction ceremony. Over 50 new members, including many vocal performers, actors, theater technicians, visual artists, writers, and musicians, were all inducted. Also inducted were the new officers, who are co-chairman John Colby and Leslie McNair, co-assistant chairman Jeff Eastman and Pete Greenfogel, secretary Demetrius Yahos, and finally treasurer Mike Feinberg. Miss Beer, an art teacher at West who helped create PAVIS, was also awarded an honorary membership. This year's performances are being dedicated to the memory of Janet Taylor and Nate Watson, and the theme is Explosion of Creativity.
The boys football team had its first victory since 1984 over arch rival Cherry Hill East, 20-18. Kevin Carlton threw for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to Chris Martini and 1 to Chris Jimenez. Joel Correa was also very effective as the running back. The defense, led by Bruce Barker and Randy Cook, stopped East James Francis Coney. West finishes at a record of 3-6 and should be commended on an excellent season.
This past weekend, several members of West Theater Workshop presented the romantic comedy A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. 29 people were in the cast, which included a love quadrangle of Athenians, fairies casting mirthful spells, and actors in a play within a play. 310 parents, friends, and seekers of extra credit in English class attended opening night, and the closing night was just as well attended. West's next show is the spring musical West Side Story. Philadelphia Inquirer sports writer Bill Lyon visited West last Friday, December 4th, to talk to students about his work. He stressed the importance of reading and hard work for any aspiring young writers. He also spoke about many of the interesting personalities and events that he has reported during his career. However, the highlight of his speech was when students and teachers had a chance to ask Mr. Lyon questions about his work and his opinions of the sports world. Pizza and soda were served. His visit was fun and educational for all.
The boys and girls basketball team are hard at work for their upcoming season. Both teams have had 3 scrimmages, and final cuts will be made this week. The boys team, under coach Donald Murray, looked very strong this season, with senior Pat Boyce leading the way at center. Now I have the rundown of all the South Jersey All-Stars. The senior field hockey star Adrian Thorpe has made all Group 4 first team. Heather Levinsky, Julia Dunworth, and Dana Pilla have all made honorable mention. Brian Bianco and Joe Molinaro have both made first team All-South Jersey in soccer. Bianco made third team All-State, and Joe Molinaro made second team All-State. In addition, Molinaro and Bianco both made all Group 4 team.
The Cherry Hill community mourns the loss of Ken Garland, who died with complications of leukemia at 10:30 on Friday evening. Mr. Garland had been very involved with Cherry Hill West as well as Cable 18. For several years, he hosted the Film Forum on Cable 18 with Joe Truitt. 4 years ago, his entire morning radio show was brought to West as a learning experience for broadcasting classes. Some people will remember Ken Garland as the voice behind the green screen of Cable 18 and radio personality of WPEN, while the school-age population might remember him as the man who made us aware that school would be closed or delayed on snowy winter mornings. Ken Garland will also be remembered as the master of ceremonies at many of the 4th of July celebrations held at the Jonas C. Morris Stadium. Mr. Garland will be missed by his many friends here at West.
On Monday, SGO representatives attended the Fraternal Order of Police banquet held at the Hyatt. The SGO representatives brought gifts and holiday cheer to these handicapped children.
The Asian Culture Club and the World Affairs Club had a joint meeting to welcome and hear their guest speaker, the Honorable Ida K. Chen. Judge Chen currently serves on the Common Pleas Court of Philadelphia County in the Family Court Division. The first Asian American woman to serve on the Common Pleas Court, Judge Chen has had a long career of serving the public through the years in the capacities of judge, lawyer, lecturer, and concerned citizen for organizations such as the Philadelphia Lesbian and Gay Task Force, Volunteers for the Indigent Program, and even commissioner of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations. She lectures at both Temple and Cornell universities, and on her visit here to West, spoke on issues including human relations, Asian American culture, and answered questions about her experiences as a judge.
The highly touted girls basketball team fell to highly ranked Washington Township 50-46 in an exciting game. Janaea Butler scored 19 points for West, which will play against Lenape and in the holiday tournament next week.
Congratulations go out to the many instrumental students who were accepted into the All-South Jersey Honors Wind Ensemble, Symphonic Band, and Orchestra. Tryouts were held last Friday evening at Vineland Regional High School. Accepted into the Wind Ensemble were Jim Nicholson, Ken Robinson, Todd Groves, Becky Effler, Michael O'Donnell, Samara Aberman, Jeremy Munyon, Ann Ebi, Peter Fashnacht. The symphonic band members are Diane Tomlinson, Chris Dudley, Julietta Schoaf, Solomon Spector, Liz Watson, and Peter Greenfogle. The orchestra members are Wesley Tudor, Joey Chang, and Sarah Rosen.
The Winter Band Concert was held last Wednesday, December 9th in West Auditorium. The concert band performed first, playing the Planet Suite by Gustav Holst, Solomon Celebration by Bruce Pearson and Chuck Elledge, Coast Guard March by Carl F. King, and Celebration and Dance by James Swearingen. Then the Wind Ensemble performed Of Sailors and Whales by William Francis Macbeth, the Earl of Oxford's March from the William Byrd Suite by William Byrd, and Shepherd's Hay by Percy Granger. Both groups had great performances. The orchestral and choral concert is tonight at 7:30 in the auditorium, and admission is free. Among the many pieces will be the annual performance of the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel's Messiah and the traditional Shalom Kavarim by the vocal groups directed by Mrs. Bass and the orchestra directed by Mrs. Kazinskis. Come see the show to put you in a holiday mood.
The West Boys swim team won one and lost one last week. On Wednesday, the Lions beat Washington Township 94-91. Christian Amonte won both the 200 free and the 500 free, and freshman Adam Ritchie won the 200 IM and the 100 backstroke. On Friday, though, the team traveled to Ocean City and lost by roughly 40 points. The boys team will race against arch rival Cherry Hill East, Haddonfield, and Pennsauken this week. The girls swim team fell to Vineland last week, 110-78. Sophomore Lauren Cimino was West's only double winner in the 100 butterfly and the 100 backstroke. Also, Amy Hogan won the diving for West, Laura Newman won the 500 free, and Jody Sanders won the 100 breaststroke. The team will swim East, Cherokee, and in the Pirate Invitational on Saturday.
Being that this is Inauguration Day, we decided to venture into the West cafeteria and see what the West community is expecting from President Bill Clinton.
I think that Bill Clinton should end the war with Saddam Hussein and kill him. And I think that he should, help every race and every community and, get drugs off the street and make world peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think Bill Clinton will do as well as a job as President Bush did because he doesn't have the foreign affairs experience like President Bush did.
but I hope he takes an aggressive stand with Iraq, and I hope he also does things that will benefit the Africans in Somalia. And I hope that he follows George Bush's example, but I hope he also puts in some effort and shows the same effort as George Bush did. Thank you.
A better country.
Thank you.
I basically think that Bill Clinton will be a good president. I believe his economic plan will be get us out of the bad recession that we're having now, and basically that he's going to be good.
Elective fairs were held last week. Their purpose was to inform students of the optional courses which are available to them for next year. Last Wednesday, students had an opportunity to learn about different social studies related courses. Then on Friday, an assembly was held to talk about their other options. Hopefully these fairs will succeed in educating students about the many different electives at West.
The men and women of West calendars are still on sale, but they're going quickly, so if you want one, buy one soon. Among the ladies pictured in the Women of the West calendar are Michelle Moy, Tara Ergood, Marta Levy, and Nicole Feliciano. In the Men of West calendar, you can see pictures of Steve and Chris Perrone, Joel Correa, Randy Cook, Joe Molinaro, and Rod Ramirez, just to name a few. You can get your calendar for $10 during any lunch period in the cafeteria, at any basketball game, or in F-22 during homeroom.
West winter sports seasons are coming to an end. The girls varsity basketball team raised its record to 14-3 last week by defeating Bishop Eustace, Camden, and Deptford. In the Camden game, Janaea Butler led the team with 20 points, and Chrissy Zepnicki added 16. The Lady Lions play Overbrook and Triton this week. The girls swim team placed fourth in the South Jersey Invitational last Saturday with an impressive score of 176. Individually for West, junior Lauren Newman placed third in both the 200 and the 500 freestyle. Sophomore Carolyn Thorpe placed second in the 50 freestyle and third in the 100 freestyle. And sophomore Lauren Semino took fourth in the 100 butterfly and fifth in the 100 backstroke. Also, junior Jody Sanders took sixth place in the 100 breaststroke. West 200 free relay team was third in the meet, and the 200 medley team was fifth in the meet. The girls' regular season is now over, and the team looks toward the time finals on the 17th of February. And finally, the boys and girls bowling team, as they near the end of their season, they play Gloucester Catholic and Camden Catholic this week. The boys basketball team raised its record to 6-16 last week with 2 wins and a loss. The team began the week with a 58-45 victory over Highland, in which senior Pat Boyce led the team with 20 points. On Thursday, West had another commanding victory over Edgewood, this time 74-57. Freshman Anthony DeMichael led the team with 25 points. Last Saturday, the boys lost to Camden Catholic 64-54. Sophomore Anthony Succi has 17 points in that game. In what may have been their best effort of the season, the Lions defeated the 14-8 Eastern High School Vikings last night. The boys built up a 43-26 halftime lead, but the Vikings came charging back to tie the game at 77 apiece with 6 seconds left in the ball game. The Lions then took the ball in bounds and raced down the length of the court, where Anthony Succi put up a shot from the top of the key that gave West a thrilling 79-77 victory and touched off a wild celebration. Succi finished with 22 points to lead all scorers for West, but it's the last two that we will all remember for a long, long time. Good things are expected from this West team in the future. The West wrestling team won one and lost two meets last week. The team began with a 51-18 drubbing of Cinnaminson. However, on Saturday, the Lions lost to both Maple Shade 37-17, and Nottingham 42-30 in a tri-meet. Senior captain Todd Updike and junior Randy Goldberg led the team with 3-0 weeks individually. The team has now finished its regular season, but districts for the individual championships will be held at Cherokee this Friday and Saturday evening. Good luck to all West wrestlers competing.
So what do you guys plan on doing with your second semester?
Well, I want to improve my English stuff. So I will be taking creative writing with Della Williams, who I already have for English. So I'll just be having one more class with her. And hopefully I'll improve my writing skills.
What do you plan on doing, Dave?
Well, I'm still keeping my same old courses, but I'm just going to try to maintain good grades, and that's about it.
So what do you plan on doing with your second semester?
Well, since I'm a senior, I'll probably slack off and read a nice copy of People.
Thanks, Mark. All right, Howie, the second marking period is over. It's the second semester. You're a senior. What do you plan on doing?
Well, the pressure is really off, so now it's just learning for learning's sake, just to better yourself. And I think that's what I'm going to do for the second semester.
I plan to work hard on the musical, The Learning Curve, and it's a really cool show.
Ben, it's the second semester. What do you plan on doing?
Well, because of the fact that I got into the university of my choice, the American University, I plan on just, not necessarily working my tail off, but just passing and getting good grades.
You have a lot of fun?
I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Great.
Last Thursday, the sophomore class concluded the annual carnation sale with a big finish. At first, the sales were slow, but when it was finished, they ended up selling 1,300 carnations. The carnations, along with a brief message on a pink heart, were delivered on Thursday morning. Many faces were brightened as a carnation arrived in their homeroom with their name on it.
Yesterday, February 16th, during all lunch periods, elections were held for West's Hall of Fame. 10 senior nominees were named as their senior comrades voted for their favorite.
On Tuesday, March 2nd, the ROTC received their annual inspection from the Air Force. Captain Gregory Fauner arrived at the school at 7 a.m. and then departed at 3:30 p.m. All of West's ROTC cadets were required to be in uniform. Several cadets were required to either miss class or leave class early to brief Captain Fauner on West's events or attend the official inspection ceremony. On March 4th, tickets for this year's spring musical, West Side Story, will go on sale during all lunch periods and at the ticket window booth after school. Also, the annual previews for the spring musical will take place on Monday, March 8th, with seniors and sophomores singing the program during first period and juniors and freshmen going to the auditorium during second period.
The Hall of Fame induction ceremony was held last Thursday morning, March 4th, in a senior class assembly, which also featured the jazz ensemble directed by Mr. Goldman to entertain the faculty and the students. The class ranked extracurricular and athletic activities, and faculty and student votes of each of the 57 Hall of Fame nominees had been taken into consideration, and 13 students rose above the other nominees. Kim McBride, Tom Estelo, Amy Zoffman, Bruce Barker, Adrian Thorpe, Rob Wagner, Joy Lowe, Brian Schmidt, Julie McDonald, Deepal Doshi, Leslie McNair, Jason Botel, and Ushma Pandya were inducted into the Hall of Fame. The inductees were awarded a plaque, and their names will be engraved into the Hall of Fame plaque in front of the principal's office, with their pictures displayed above it for 1 year. Congratulations to these 13 memorable seniors. With opening night for West Side Story just a few days away, we decided to interview its director to see how the show's coming along. Mr. Jalura, what are the final rehearsals like?
Well, we're up to the stage now where we're pulling everything together. We've been rehearsing separately, singers separate from the dancers, separate from the singers, separate from the actors, separate from the orchestra. And now what problems I foresee are enmeshing all that together. And we'll find out how that all happens in the next few days.
I know some directors rehearse until the last minute and others take a day off before opening night. Which do you choose to do?
We've always chosen to take the day before the show off, and I feel that the rehearsal schedule has been so intense for the last 2 weeks that I want my actors to be really fresh and charged, and I think that's the way to do it. Other people think you work towards a peak, and there are two ways of looking at it. That's just the way I choose to do it.
Are there any innovative or different things we should look for in this year's production of the show?
Scenically, we've tried to do something interesting. We're working instead of with the typical boxed sets or flats or walls coming in. We've chosen to go to an urban jungle kind of look, and so there's scaffolding on stage. There's the walls are painted brick. There's lots of barbed wire and cyclone fencing and all this kind of stuff. The floor is painted to look like it's a street sidewalk, a street pavement, and make that feeling. And we don't use anywhere in the show. There are no typical sets that come in. So that's different for us. It's a very open feeling kind of staging. I think it works very nicely in the show.
Are there any show-stopping numbers we should brace ourselves for?
You should brace yourselves for. Well, there's always Officer Krupke in the second act, which is written. It's at a very low point in the show, and the number is done as a comedic vaudeville number. And the way it's written in the book, it's hard not to be effective. And I think our Officer Krupke will be very effective this year. Lots of gymnastics and tumbling and Marx Brothers kind of puns and punches and that sort of thing. So that's going to be a big number to look out for in the second act. In the first act, I think the number that we closed the preview performance today, America, is a very high energy, great number. One that we haven't seen yet, students haven't seen yet, is Cool, which happens somewhere in the middle, and it's another really good number. Big numbers.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jula. We'll see you opening night.
See you there, too.
On Friday, March 12th, the 1993 spring musical opened to an almost sold-out crowd. The Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th performances were postponed due to snow. However, they were rescheduled for the following weekend. The cast, crew, and pit all joined in harmony to present the 20th century's answer to Romeo and Juliet, Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story. The parts of Marie and Tony were played by Deborah Lassiter and Aaron Lazar, respectively, with Dave Marika playing the part of Riff. Eric Shaw and Tara Rogers starred as Bernardo and Anita. The Jets battled the Sharks. In the streets, at the gym, and finally, for the tragic ending, at the basketball courts. Bravo to all who participated.
Yesterday, the mayor and city officials all running Cherry Hill and left office with kids in charge. Well, maybe not. But 30 high school students did take charge Tuesday morning and evening of Government Day, where 10 Cherry Hill West, 10 Cherry Hill East, and 10 Camden Catholic students took town officials' roles and worked together on projects like Route 70's trees and underage drinking. Jen Garita and I were there to bring you the coverage.
There are two major issues being discussed today, and one of them is about Route 70 taking off the plans, and here's the committee, and they're discussing it right now. Right now I'm here with two Cherry Hill West students who were earlier discussing about the Route 70 project. And your names are?
My name's Howard Manson. I'm aide to the mayor.
I'm Joy Lowe, and I'm a council member. And what issues are you discussing?
Well, we're dealing with the Route 70 project and how to create either two jug handles or a traffic light so we can move traffic through Cherry Hill a lot faster. The problem that we're having is we either have to go through the wetlands, which we don't want to do, or a business section, or a community. We're trying to deal with which would be the least harmful to Cherry Hill.
We need to consider these special interest groups and raises issues such as the Cherry Hill business constituency and the image that Cherry Hill has, and also the state level interest in the environmental issues.
Perhaps its largest undertaking of this year, the Nature Defense Club has been working since January on its elementary school education program. Working with funds provided by the Environmental Protection Agency, 4 areas of the environment will be focused on at the schools. 36 West students broke off into 4 teams: trees, water, wildlife, and recycling. Students rotate from station to station to learn from the lessons that the West students and faculty advisor, Mrs. Hawes, have devised. After the high school students leave, the elementary school students take a post-test to assess how much they have learned. The first visit to Johnson School was held on March 23rd. The last day of the program will be on March 31st. The 6 schools visited will include Johnson, Kilmer, Barton, Payne, Knight, and Kingston.
This is Dave Hammond, and I'm talking with one of the best science students at Cherry Hill West, Rob Wagner. Tell me, when were you first interested in physics?
Well, I started sophomore year. I took Physics 1 as a sophomore with Mr. Chatterjee, and I really became interested by it.
And now you're taking Physics 2?
Yes.
Rob, at the beginning of this interview, I mentioned all your accomplishments in the world of physics, not to mention that last year you were the state champion in Chemistry 1. What do you think is your greatest scientific accomplishment?
Well, I think my greatest accomplishment is becoming a semifinalist here, the U.S. Physics team.
Americans celebrate St. Patrick's Day in many different ways. Here at West, I decided to ask some students about how they celebrated their St. Patrick's Day.
Actually, I celebrated it by having a show at school. That's how I celebrated it. Seriously. So, I don't know.
That's it?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Exciting. Now, my other best friend in the whole world, Jen Crick. Jen, how did you celebrate your St. Patrick's Day?
Well, I had a show too, but in celebration of the festivities, I took a nap. I took a nap.
Oh, wait, there is something. I did do something.
Jen?
I went to McDonald's and got a Shamrock Shake. No way, I got one of those too. They're kind of gross.
They're good.
But no, charity. They support a good cause.
You heard it here. Shamrock Shakes. Okay, I'm here with Sean Gallagher, a quite Irish name for an Irish guy. Sean, how did you celebrate your St. Patrick's Day?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing? Nothing at all?
Nope, didn't even wear green.
Okay, thanks. Here with West Report's own sports reporter, Dave Marika. Dave, how did you spend your St. Patrick's Day?
My St. Patrick's Day, I was trying to catch up on the sleep that I've missed from working on the musical.
That seems to be an answer of many people that worked on the musical. Was it that hard, Dave?
Nah, it was worth it.
Great. All right. I'm here with Howard Manson. Howard, we're looking for a Jewish perspective on how you celebrated your St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I basically went to McDonald's and got a Shamrock Shake, which was very good. And then I went home, and that was about it.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Now we're here with Jason Botel. Jason, many people out in the West Report viewing area want to know, how did you spend your St. Patrick's Day?
In school? I had a Shamrock Shake.
Again, Okay, now we're here with Sam Chan. Sammy, how did you spend your St. Patrick's Day?
I played volleyball.
Played volleyball. Great. With the senior class advisor, Mr. Munyon. Mr. Munyon.
Hi.
How did you celebrate your St. Patrick's Day?
I stayed home and marked papers.
That's all?
That's all.
There's always more room for Jell-O, and West Baseball Boosters made room for it in the wrestling ring. Yes, Jell-O Wrestling was the event for West Championship Baseball Team fundraiser. In the ring was several inches of multicolored Jell-O with strawberries and several West teachers and students to boot. In particular, the tag team combination of Mr. Hart and Mr. Sweden, which beat Coach Laird and Mr. Koha.
Many people use spring break to catch up on sleep, homework, or party their hardest. One group of West students used their spring break in a more educational way. The humanities clubs went on a field trip to Italy. The group of 12 students and 2 teachers left on Saturday, April 3rd, and returned on Sunday, April 11th. Earlier today, Debbie Wickus had the opportunity to speak with these interesting students who went on.
Hi everybody, welcome to the West Report. Thank you for coming, and I'd like to introduce everybody to our home audience. This is Michelle, Shannon, Jen, Amy, and Wes. I have some questions I'd like to ask you guys. All right, what cities did you visit on your trip?
Well, we flew into Milan, and we took a very long bus ride to Venice, and then, what was that, Florence? Verona, and then to Venice, Florence. It all runs together. Bologna, whatever. And then we ended up in Rome.
Okay. And your favorite city?
Venice.
What was your favorite attraction?
Everybody just give one.
Well, we went to the clubs there, and they were very much different from the ones in the United States, and all the people there are very friendly, and it was very fun. And they played some really old music, and it was just kind of interesting listening to the type of music they listened to there.
I guess the guys were kind of rude, very rude, to put it mildly. But like for the most part, most people that spoke Italian were really eager to try and communicate with you, even though they didn't speak English or you didn't speak Italian. So for the most part, people were nice, but the men had a tendency to be a little bit overwhelming for us.
In celebration of the National Library Week, Mrs. Wiltsey, the librarian, Mrs. Walsh, and her English 4 students held a read-in at the library last Monday. Some senior students read excerpts from Dante's Inferno, while others read selections from authors they had studied.
DECA, West's chapter of the Distributive Education Clubs of America, sponsored the annual fashion show for this year's prom fashions. West Zone students modeled prom gowns, dresses, and tuxedos from Formal Expressions and the Country Way on Route 38 to give students ideas of what to wear for the junior prom on May 8th and or the senior prom on May 29th. Speaking of the prom, senior prom tickets are now on sale during homeroom in F22 or during any lunch period in the cafeteria for $100 a couple. The prom will be held on Saturday, May 29th in the Bellevue Stratford in Philadelphia.
Barbara Thompson's Lady Lions lacrosse team fell in its season opener to Cherry Hill East 9-6. Michelle Robuski and Adrian Thorpe each had 2 goals for West. And Julia Dunworth and Shannon O'Connor each added 1. The girls play Rancocas Valley and Maple Shade this week. The girls' track team also fell to Cherry Hill East last week, 68-54. Nina Moore was West's big winner, with victories in both the 100 and 200 meter race and the long jump. Individually, Michelle Moy also won the high hurdles, Melissa Majikis won the shot put, and Dana Pillow won the discus. The Lady Lions will compete against Camden this week, and then certain individuals will also compete in the pen relays this weekend.
Last week, Cherry Hill West presented Broadway Night entitled A Disney Spectacular. Taking part in this annual event were the combined vocal groups of Carusi Junior School and Cherry Hill West. Mrs. Christine Bass directed the performances on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Among the many Disney favorites presented were selections from Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins, Newsies, and Aladdin. A highlight of the performance was student choreographed dances. Congratulations to everyone involved in Broadway Night.
"28 students from West Spanish 4 and 5 AP classes were inducted into the Quiroga chapter of the National Spanish Honor Society in the library last Wednesday. Mr. Abraham Montes de Oca from the United Nations was the guest speaker, who commended the inductees on their achievements. In a candlelighting ceremony, the new members pledged to devote themselves to the study of the Spanish language in order to master it someday, remembering that language can be a strong tie between persons of different origins of race or religion. They promised to promote friendship and understanding between the many countries of the world."
It's that time of year again in Cherry Hill West. It's spring, when the world is mud luscious and puddle wonderful. And Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope. Our campus is blooming with cherry blossom, dogwood, and students with acute cases of senioritis and spring fever. And in the words of A.E. Hugman, and since to look at things in bloom 50 springs is little room. Glamorous limos, glittering dresses, radiant smiles, crisp tuxedos, and flashing cameras. What was the occasion for all this? The Academy Awards? Randall Cunningham's wedding? No, it was the Cherry Hill West Junior Prom, held last Saturday in the Phoenix Room at the Garden State Racetrack. The track provided an appropriate setting for this year's theme and night at the races. Juniors and guests danced the night away under canopy of gold, black, and white balloons to the music of On the Town Sound disc jockeys. At 11:30, signaling the night was coming to a close, the prom song, In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel, was played. The night marked the end of this memorable event, fun was had by all who attended.
On Friday, May 7th, West Thespian Society held its annual one-act play festival. The sophomores won the competition with their play Adaptations, directed by Amy Estolo, who won the Best Director and the Best Lighting Award. Also winning for the sophomores were Jason Brand for Best Actor and Gina Fantozzi for Best Supporting Actress. The senior play, Happy Endings, came in second place, even though no seniors won any individual awards. The play was directed by Audrey Zoffman and starred Mark Walsh and Eric Shaw. The freshman came in third place with the play Falk, a comedy about a condemned fine arts recreational house. Coming in last were the juniors with The Real Inspector Hound, a mysterious whodunit play directed by Josh Cohen. And the individual award was won by Brian Fegley, who won Best Supporting Actor.
On May 6th, the Cherry Hill West Choral Department attended the American Choral Directors Association Festival at Trenton State College. Making the comparison throughout the 3 days of adjudication, the judges said West was the best out of all other groups heard and were singing on a college level. Chanson received a top score in the Outstanding category. Vocal Workshop, West Singers, Chamber Singers, and Men of Note all received a superior rating. Congratulations to the Cherry Hill West Choral Department. Good luck in competing in Canada this week.
Tom Trotman, who recently won his 400th game as the West varsity baseball coach, is again preparing his team for the upcoming state tournament. The Lions qualified for the tourney last week by clubbing Cherry Hill East 15-7 and Camden 19-4. Against East, Greg Peck collected the victory with 4 innings of relief pitching, and Brad Napoli and Brian Bianco each had 3 hits. Bianco was the big gun also against Camden with a single, double, and a triple. Unfortunately, the team dropped to number 4 in South Jersey with a 5-3 loss to Washington Township last Saturday. This week, the Lions play Eastern and Edgewood in conference matchups, and then they play Gloucester Catholic in Diamond Classic play on Saturday.
The Cherry Hill West Music Department traveled to Toronto, Canada on May 13th to participate in the Heritage Festival. The choral and instrumental groups did very well against the 7 other high schools who participated. 8 out of the 12 West groups received first place with the gold. These groups were West Singers, Chamber Singers, Men of Note, String Quartet, Wind Ensemble, Jazz Ensemble, Marching Band, and Amethyst Indoor Color Guard. The other 4 groups, Chanson, Vocal Workshop, String, and Full Orchestra, received second with the silver. The String Quartet won the highest award of all the musical groups participating in the festival. Both the instrumental and choral groups received the overall best in the competition. As well as competing over the weekend, the students also had fun seeing the sights of Canada, some of them being the Ontario Science Centre, Canada's Wonderland, Casa Loma, and the ever-so-beautiful Niagara Falls. West Band Concert was held last Tuesday, May 11th in the auditorium. The concert band, directed by Mr. Goldman, started off at 7:30 with the performance of An American Spiritual, Blue Ridge, Saga, Fantasy on American Sailing Songs, and Covenant. Then the Wind Ensemble, under the direction of Mr. Yurko, performed Cakewalk from a suite of old American dances and Hobbits from Johann de Mead's Lord of the Rings. Before the final number, Mr. Yurko presented John Philip Sousa Award to Jim Nicholson and Ann eBay for their excellent musicianship. After the Wind Ensemble performed, the musicians and audience were invited to a reception in the cafeteria sponsored by the Music Boosters.
The softball team lost 4 games last week, to Eastern 11-1, to Edgewood 13-2, to Washington Township 8-4, and to Cherry Hill East 10-4. Kristen Lysak, Joanna Elias, and Tracy Shannon each had extra base hits for West last week. The girls play Overbrook, Highland, and Haddonfield this week. Because this is the final game for many senior softball players, I'd like to recognize them now for 4 years of dedication and hard work. Pitcher Kristen Lysak, right fielder Elena Salerno, second baseman Trish Mason, first baseman Allison Lane, utility player Emily Hillman, left fielder Lisa Mahalan, shortstop Joanna Elias, and third baseman Tracy Shannon. Congratulations to them for 4 years of stellar play.
West choral groups, under the direction of Mrs. Bass and the orchestra conducted by Mrs. Kazinskis, had its annual spring concert Monday night. Vocal Workshop started the concert at 7:30, followed by chansons, string orchestra, and chamber singers. Then the award-winning string quartet performed Dvorak's Quartet No. 12 in F major, Opus 96. The famous Men of Note sang next, followed by the orchestra and West Singers. During the concert, seniors Marcy Navikas and Eric Shaw from West Singers and Nancy Nam and Joey Chang from The orchestra each won the Most Devoted Musician Award. The combined choirs ended the night with Handel's Hallelujah, Amen.
The Home and School Association Awards were given on Thursday, May 13th. First, awards were presented to students with perfect attendance. Next, senior honor awards were given by each department to the senior that they chose to honor. The Math Award went to James Clark, Physical Sciences to Robert Wagner, Biology to Dave Hammond, History to Tim McBride, Foreign Language to Ann Ebi, English to Karen Tyson, and Phys Ed to Bruce Barker. Congratulations to everyone who received an award.
Last Friday was Travis Day at Cherry West. Members of Travis, which stands for Performing and Visual Arts Society, had prepared many weeks in advance for this annual event. Throughout the day, there were different displays in the cafeteria, Jones Gym, and auditorium. In the cafeteria, there were goods for sale made by the culinary arts classes at West. In the Jones Gym, the art, photography, woodshop, and metal shop classes displayed their best works. And in the auditorium, a variety of groups performed during different periods. First period was orchestra. Second period was the winning sophomore one-act adaptations. Third period, vocal workshop, Shanson, and West Singers, 3 vocal groups directed by Mrs. Christine Bass, joined together to sing excerpts from this year's Broadway night. Periods 4, 7, and 8 consisted of men of note, chamber singers, and jazz ensemble. And periods 5 and 6 were reserved for variety acts and talent portions displayed in ways such as singing, dancing, and acting. Those students involved and spectating seemed to really enjoy Pavis, and plans will soon begin to be made for them.
The senior prom was Saturday night at the Bellevue in Center City, Philadelphia. The prom started at 8 and ended at 1 a.m. A delicious turkey dinner was served, followed by dessert. The evening was fun and entertaining with the help of great music, which got people out on the dance floor. Forever Young was the theme song of the night. Some seniors who attended made comments that this was their best prom ever. What are these black, purple, and silver books circulating around the school? They're West's 1993 Rampant. The yearbooks were distributed last Sunday evening at 6 p.m. A yearbook signing party followed immediately in the cafeteria, where students got a chance to get together with their friends and share memories and put them to ink in their yearbook. If you still haven't picked up your yearbook, see Mrs. Kruger immediately. You can also buy a yearbook cover, a special yearbook signing pen, and a year in review yearbook supplement for $1 each.
Please don't drive me After this shared dawn, we will separate and follow our own days. Although we will no longer walk together, our memories of Cherry Hill West will provide us with comfort and strength to face the future with confidence.
So tonight, we celebrate the beginning of a new tomorrow. Remember, the time of celebration is now, and the success of tomorrow is not far from reach. For now, we must cherish this moment, and the energy of this moment will spread beyond all boundaries.
Now we must develop, rather than abandon, our knowledge acquired during our 13 years of provided public education. Already freed from the government of school, we must free ourselves from society's evils and apathy. We must cultivate our own abilities. Now we must govern ourselves.
We all graduate together and face life together. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, as one class. I am proud of our class. I am proud of our accomplishments. And I am proud to have been a part of it. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Together, we learned that we really don't know how much time we have. But we can control one thing: the quality of our lives. So, dream of things that never were, and say why not. Look back, smile, wave, but go forward until we all meet again. Goodbye, your friend and advisor.
I wish for you the fulfillment of all you can accomplish and all you can be in your lifetime. For remember, nothing is impossible for you. For the dreams of yesterday are the hopes of today and the realities of tomorrow. So we salute you, graduates of 1993. Good luck to you always. Your future of tomorrows awaits you. And may all of your tomorrows be filled with success and happiness.
memories of our high school years shall differ for each of us, yet the bonds formed among us by these memories shall live on eternally. I ask of you to remember the times we have shared, allowing them to take root and spread forth from this day on. As Natalie Merchant sings, I should have known. At our age, in a string of days, the year is gone. But in that space of time, it can take so long. Because we can't make up for the memories that we've lost. I must let these memories provide.